Hello, Oklahoma Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs AmeriCorps members. This is Megan Ellis, your Alliance Director here with the first of 2 training videos. On this training video, we're going to go over AmeriCorps 101, your term of service, and the prohibited and unallowable activities. While we're going through this video, you should have with you your Oklahoma Alliance AmeriCorps member handbook. We're going to be going through the first few sections. So crack open your beautiful blue binders and let me tell you some of the things that are in here for your reference. Past the table of contents is the important dates list. This tells you everything that's happening for the entire year. Important ones to point out are mandatory training days, times for check-in calls, midterm performance evaluations, and the end of the year. Note, member reports, timesheets, site supervisor timesheets, and financial documents are due by the 10th of each month to the Alliance Director. This is the same every month. In the second video, we'll go over how to do those member reports. The next page is the report submission checklist. This is everything you turn in for the entire year in order with the date that it's due. Use this and just check things off as you go. If you've signed up for remind.com, you'll get reminders, but this is just another way to make sure that you're on top of all the things that are due for AmeriCorps. The next section is AmeriCorps 101. There are only a few documents in here, and I'll go over them quickly. The first one is just general information about the AmeriCorps program. This is a handy guide for simple questions. Take time to read through this. If there are things you still need to know, feel free to talk to your site supervisor or you can email me. But I like to know that people are reading what I'm giving them before shooting off emails or sending in phone calls. The next document in here is the prohibited activities. We'll go over these in detail, but this is something you should read as well. There are some frequently asked questions and terms to know. So if you hear us talking about something and it sounds like it's a secret language, this is probably where you can find that out. But again, don't hesitate to ask your site supervisor or me if you have any questions. I'm going to set this down and talk to you a little bit more about what AmeriCorps is. AmeriCorps is a national service program. You can think of us as a domestic Peace Corps. People across the country are committing a certain amount of time. For you all, it's either 900 hours or 675 hours to serve their country by serving in your local community. There are lots of different types of AmeriCorps positions. Ours all focus on the Boys and Girls Club and on academic engagement. But AmeriCorps members can serve doing disaster recovery, veteran services, rebuilding parks. You'll probably have people come up to you and say, oh, I had a cousin or a brother or a friend who did such and such and such, but that's different from you. Is that all still AmeriCorps? And the answer is yes. There are lots of different ways to serve your country and to serve your community through AmeriCorps. Our focus area, as I said, is education. And just so you know, since the beginning of AmeriCorps in 1994, 800,000 members have served nationwide. Over 10,000 members have served here in Oklahoma, and the program has given out over $2.4 billion in education awards. We have some returning members this year, Josh Gray and Rachel Pearson at the Ottawa County Club and the Nowata Clubs. If you have questions about impact of service and the difference that it makes, feel free to ask them. They did a wonderful presentation at our member orientation, and I'm thrilled to have them on for a second year. Benefits of being an AmeriCorps member. Other than you know that you're spending your time serving others and generally being an awesome person, there are some real financial benefits to being an AmeriCorps member. One is that you can place any student loans that are currently in repayment into forbearance. That means if you're paying back student loans right now, you can put them in forbearance and not have to start paying them again until you finish your AmeriCorps term of service. Now, your student loans will still accrue interest during this time, but you won't have to make a monthly payment. Loan forbearance is something that you have to sign up for yourself through the AmeriCorps portal. I can help you with that, but I can't do it for you. So if you have questions, please ask me. Other benefits: your education award and your living allowance. If you are a half-time 900-hour member with a living allowance, that means that each month you will receive the same living stipend. This stipend comes to you through your service site or the club that you're serving at. At the end of your 900-hour term of service, you will be eligible to receive an education award of $2,865. You redeem this education award through the My AmeriCorps portal. We'll talk more about that in training sessions so that you know how to access those dollars once you've completed your term of service. Now, I very specifically say completed your term of service because if you do not finish your 900 hours, you are not eligible for any part of the education award. There are special circumstances that we can document, but deciding to take another job, enroll for more hours in school, or move, those don't count. So you have to complete those 900 hours in order to get that award. Now, if you're a reduced half-time member serving at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Durant, your living allowance is paid to you through the work-study program. We count those as the same. So your check will come from the university. You are eligible for an education award once you complete your 675 hours, and the amount of that education award is $2,182.78. You access that through the AmeriCorps portal, and you are also eligible for loan forbearance. Oh, but the same thing does apply. If you do not complete your 675 hours, you're not eligible for the education award. Finally, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about prohibited and unallowable activities. As an AmeriCorps member, you have a very specific AmeriCorps job description. These job descriptions are written into the grant that the Alliance has presented to the Oklahoma Community Service Commission, and the Community Service Commission has approved it, and it's been approved at the national AmeriCorps level as well. It is very important that we make sure that since we are receiving federal funds, we use the time that you're serving appropriately, and we use those funds appropriately. The main thing to be aware of in prohibited and unallowable activities for our AmeriCorps members is job displacement. Your role as an AmeriCorps member is defined in your job description. You have 4 main duties. 1 is to assist in homework help and power hour. 2, to create or strengthen incentive programs at your club for academic achievement and engagement. 3, to offer Boys and Girls Clubs of America targeted program for Boys and Girls Clubs members after they finish power hour. And 4, to go out into the community to encourage people to volunteer at your Boys and Girls Club, and specifically in the homework help and power hour programs. Those are the things that you should be logging time for. Things that you should not be logging time for: filling in for another employee who is sick or on vacation. You have your job description, and that's the job you're supposed to be doing. Even if someone is out, even if someone is sick, an AmeriCorps member cannot be pulled off of their assigned tasks to fill that role. The club needs to handle it just like they would if you weren't there. You should not be filling in for a long-term, vacated position. You should not be the only person in power hour or homework help. Your job is to be sure that there are more hands, more adults in that room to help those kids, not replace the current staff member that's assigned to power hour. It's not your job to drive the bus, it's not your job to be the janitor, and it's not your job to sit the front desk. Now, we do want you to be team players. If you're standing by the front desk and the phone rings, then yes, you should pick it up and say, "Thank you for calling the Boys and Girls Clubs of Norman. This is Megan, how can I help you?" If the club is closed down for a day for training or to retool for shifting to new programs and everyone is helping to clean the club, then yes, you should be a team player. Don't be like, "Nope, I'm an AmeriCorps member, I'm not cleaning that bathroom." If everybody's doing it, then you should join in. But like I said, if the janitor's sick or somebody else is just busy, you should not be pulled out of helping children with their homework to do janitorial work or to sit at the front desk or answer the phones. Another thing that happens commonly is helping to set up with dinner or helping to set up with snack. It should not interfere with the work that you've been assigned as an AmeriCorps member. But if everybody is setting up, you should definitely join in. I'm going to go quickly through some other ones. You should not be involved in lobbying, protests, petitions, boycotts, or strikes, or union organizing, collective bargaining agreements, or be involved in partisan political activities. Now, I've had the question before, does this mean as an AmeriCorps member that you can't vote? No, you should definitely go and vote. It just means that at your club, you're not rallying for a Democratic or a Republican candidate. As an AmeriCorps member, you can keep your personal beliefs to yourself and talk about them when you don't have on your AmeriCorps gear and your AmeriCorps swag. As an AmeriCorps member, you should also not engage in religious instruction. The best way that I've found to define this is, if they're praying in the room, an AmeriCorps member can be in the room while that prayer is being said, but an AmeriCorps member in their AmeriCorps gear, your t-shirt, your name tag, your jacket, your hat, you should not be the one leading the prayer. Now, does this mean you're not encouraged to go to church on Sunday morning, or that you're not encouraged to be involved in other activities outside? Of course you are. Just don't wear your AmeriCorps gear when you go. AmeriCorps members are not allowed to work for for-profit organizations. You should not be conducting voter registration drives, providing abortion services or referrals. And on that note, if you're an AmeriCorps member working with teens, this is a real question that you could get from a teenager. Talk to your site supervisor, find out what your club's policy is when a young man or a young woman comes to you because of an unwanted pregnancy, and know who to refer them to when they ask you those questions. As an AmeriCorps member in your AmeriCorps gear, you cannot make any referrals for abortion services. It also says such other activities as the corporation may prohibit, and that is just a way of saying that they can add things to this list later on. So that's a quick review of AmeriCorps 101. Again, if you have questions, feel free to ask your site supervisor, or you can email me at meganbrownellis@gmail.com or call me, area code 405-312-7729. When you reach the end of this video, please send me an email with your favorite color in the subject line so I know that you've watched the entire video. Thank you.